everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I have another watch me work video, and I'm sure you guys have been patiently waiting for another one. And I've been doing swatch videos and other reviews, and I know this is probably what a lot of you guys like the most. So I'm glad to go ahead and bring you another one. And in this video, I do go over how to apply crystals to a matte nail. I show you the 3D flower, and I also show you doing the full bling nail. So as I've done in my other previous watch me work videos, is I have shown you guys the previous set fresh and new, and I really need to show you guys this set fresh and new. It was so beautiful. I did not want to take it off. So this is what it looks like 4 weeks prior to doing the set, and so this is 4 weeks later, and just look how blingy they still are after 4 weeks. That's why you use Swarovski crystals. And they're all still there, except I think she was missing one on her pointer finger, a small one. So, yes, I didn't want to take those off. But anyways, we had to move on to other things. So I went ahead and took all her crystals off, and I have a little tool. It kind of looks like a nipper tool, but it's from a hardware store, and it's like super nippers, but they're not as sharp. And if you want to know what they are, you can watch my previous watch me work videos. I don't know which one I show them in, but maybe you should just watch all my previous watch me work videos, and that problem would be solved. So hint, hint, you should do it. So once I had all the crystals removed, I'm going in with my mean green bit from Atwood Industries. And information to probably most things I use, things I commonly use, will be in the description bar below. So please check that out. And so I'm using the mean green bit. It's the same one I've had for I think a year now. And Atwood recommends that you replace them like every 6 months. I've been using the same one. It probably isn't as, I don't want to say sharp because that portrays like it'll cut you, but it probably isn't as aggressive as it was when I first got it, but it still works so much better than anything I've ever tried. But I probably do need to get a good one, but it's all good. It still works. It still gets the job done speedy. So pretty much all this video is sped up double time. So if something looks aggressive or super intense, it's because it's sped up. So it just looks just harsh. So when you see me going in with, cuticle work or filing, that's why. So I am using this cuticle pusher from Glitter Planet. And you guys, please check out their website. I do have a discount code. And look at this cuticle pusher. You see that little bent neck? I love those type of cuticle pushers. If you've watched my previous videos and been following me for a while, you know I've been using an OPI one for the longest. And it's hard to find any other one. So I've just stuck with that same one. And so when Glitter Planet sent me over this one, I didn't even ask for it. I was super, super excited. And I also have matching cuticle nippers, and I know they have like some of those like scissors that match like the coloring as well. But despite the color, I love like the shape, that little bent neck. I've tried the flat ones in different kinds, but that is my absolute favorite. So definitely check those out, and I do have a coupon code, and that'll be below. And now I'm going in with the skiver bit, and that's from Atwood Industries as well. So I pushed back any cuticle that was on the nail plate, also pushing back the eponychium so we can kind of get a better horseshoe type shape in preparation for acrylic application. So any of the cuticle that I pushed back that is still holding on, that's basically what I'm doing, is kind of disconnecting that and getting it moved out the way. We don't want any cuticle growing on the nail plate or hanging off and around. So that's what I'm using this bit for. And it's on a very, very low speed. It looks aggressive, but it's not. It's perfectly fine. My client's nails are fine. No rings, anything like that. And now I'm taking this round bit and I'm just removing any leftover like dead skin. And I'm more so using that on her skin for the most part, and then I kind of go over the area where her acrylic needs to be filled at, and her natural nail lightly, just kind of making sure if there's any like small tiny lifting that it's, that I kind of file it away, I guess. So I'm just giving my client basically a dry mani, making sure her cuticles are all together and looking all nice and neat in the hand. This client does have a lot of cuticle growth, like thicker cuticle growth on her nail plate over time. So I really pay a lot of attention making sure the area is clean around. So I'm using the items you probably see me if you watch my videos use a million times. I'm using Speed Clear from Young Nails, Protein Bond, a dehydrator. This is new, this nail primer. It's an acid-based nail primer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply 2 coats of dehydrator, of course, letting it dehydrate in between each layer. Then I'm going to apply the acid-based primer. And then I'm going to wait till that dehydrates from the nail bed so it has that kind of ashy look. And you can kind of see it's looking like that. And this is sped up. Everything's sped up. And then I'm going to apply 2 coats of Protein Bond, 1 coat, let it dry, 10, 15, 20 seconds. Apply another coat. So the reason for that, and I learned this from, I may be pronouncing her name wrong, it's Mary Negron, I think. And I was watching her one day, and she stated that she likes to use both a protein-based primer and an acid-based primer because the acid-based primer eats away like some of the dead skin that can be on the nail plate, basically the cuticle, any remaining cuticle. And I thought that'd be great for clients who I know grow like thicker cuticle over, the time between their fill. And this client is one of them. She also has slightly oily nail beds, and ever since I've been doing this, her nails didn't last bad before. Don't get me wrong. She never had like a ton of lifting, but it was hard for her to go 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks. And I know that's not really bad, but I like my clients' nails last as good as they can. So every blue moon she would have one with a little more lifting here or there. So ever since I've been doing this, her nails have lasted so much better, and she hasn't had really any issues at all with them. So just a little tip you may want to try if you have problem clients. Go ahead. And I think Mary applies hers in a different order. I think she applies dehydrator, her protein-based primer, then the acid-based primer. I decided to switch the last 2 steps. I don't know. In my head, it made more sense. So I kind of stole her process and flipped it and switched it. But anyways, back to this. So as you can see, this whole time I was, just doing the fill with the acrylic, and I kind of wanted to show more nails because I know a lot of people like to watch the acrylic application. I like to watch it too. So as you can see, I'm applying 1 bead to probably most of the nails. Some of them I apply 1 bead on the cuticle or near the cuticle area, and then I have to apply another bead towards the apex area just to make sure that the nail has enough strength and is rebalanced, because the apex grows out closer towards the free edge. You don't want your nail to be top heavy, so you want to make sure you apply the acrylic towards the apex area, which is kind of the area where the free edge begins. And so when you file, you want to make sure that the apex area that has grown out, you kind of file that a bit thinner and make sure the thickest part is towards the center of the nail. Just a quick little, rebalancing 101 right there. So I did my filing and shaping off camera, the shaping off camera, and I'm doing the finish filing the surface of the nail on camera. It's hard for me to show like actual shaping of the nail, but I just want you guys to know the process. I always shape the nail first. After I apply the acrylic, I shape the nail so I get my coffin shape, my stiletto shape, and then I finish file the surface of the nail. And then I go back and make sure that my shape is refined. So after this, I always go back and do like a touch-up shaping of the nail and make sure my corners are super sharp or my almond is rounded the way it needs to be. Because filing the surface of the nail, which a lot of people don't take in consideration, can kind of warp the overall view of the shape in totality. So you just want to make sure after you do this, you go back and make sure your actual coffin shape or your stiletto shape is balanced, is looking right, isn't rounded, or is rounded the way it needs to be. So I just go in, I'm filing the surface, of the nail. And you can see that I always use my thumb and I feel the surface of the nail. And I want to make sure it's more flush towards the cuticle area. It's thicker towards the apex area, which is the middle of the nail, towards the free edge. And then that it gets thinner towards the actual free edge of the enhancement. So I went ahead and buffed the nails after that. Make sure we have a rough surface. And I'm using the Finger Paints black gel polish called Easel Down the Road, Orly's Rage, was like a rose gold. And I'm using the Hot Chocolate and Call It Cliche dipping powders as acrylic. They're both from Kiara Sky, and I just want to thank Kiara Sky for sending them over to me. And they sent me that whole set with the matching regular polishes and gel polishes. And I'm showing you guys the brushes that the brush I used was the purple one, but you can use the Alpha brush. I do have a coupon code for Alpha, and they make great brushes as well. And then I'm just showing you the crystals. These are the light silk crystals from Swarovski, of course. And these are rose gold. I had a hard time focusing, but y'all know what the rose gold looks like. And I use various sizes. I know for the ones where I just added 2 crystals, I used a 12 in silk and a 5 in rose gold. For the bling nails, I use various sizes in both the colors. So I'm applying the color Rage, the rose gold color, for the base of the bling nail. And I always like to match a glitter or sparkly color or metallic to the overall look of the bling nail as a base, and also to cover up that purple. And then I'm going in and applying the Finger Paints black gel polish. And this has become my favorite black gel polish. I love it so much. And it's one of those kind of one-step ones. So basically you apply it and it's not supposed to need a top coat. But I always still top coat it. But just the opacity of it is just phenomenal. And sometimes I could get away with one coat, but I try not to get it too thick because it is black, and you know, black is black. So it's kind of hard for the light to penetrate into the layers of it if you get it too thick. And so I don't ever want to risk it. So I always apply a thinner coat and then go in with the second coat, and it's always perfect. I haven't ever had to apply a third coat with this product. And so I'm going ahead and apply a second coat of the rose gold color for our bling nail, and then our second coat of our black gel polish, and making sure we're being real steady around the cuticle area, because if you get black wrong, it is going to show. Just like if you do like a dark lip and you don't use that lip liner, it is going to show. Anyways, so I'm using the Gel Bottle Inks top coat, and I'm top coating the nail we're going to do as our full bling nail. And then the other ones, we don't need to top coat right away because it finishes without a tacky layer, because like I said, it's supposed to be a one step. It doesn't need a top layer. I don't think it's as shiny as any of the top coats I have, but yeah. Anyways, so I'm just top coating the rose gold ones, and then I'm going in and I'm buffing the solid black ones in preparation for cuticle application and the matte top coat. So if you know me, you know I like to buff, and I believe you should buff anytime you're going to apply anything to the surface of the nail, depending on what it is. I'm not saying every scenario you need to buff, but if you're going to apply crystals or 3D work or anything like that, depending on what you're doing, you should buff it. So I'm using a resin, and then simple as pie, I'm just using my crystal katana, applying 1 drop of resin and another one, making sure my crystals are straight, and that's it for the black nails. Super quick. Apply the bigger stone and the smaller stone right up underneath of it. So I'm showing you guys the bling nail, and I've shown one in the past, and a long time ago, it wasn't a long time ago, but when I first started my YouTube channel, I did a video about full bling nails, and it's probably not my finest work now that I think about it, but I talked about how there's like 2 different kinds that I like to do, and one of them is like this, is basically scattered. It's random sizes, in random places, and I'm just fitting the stones like they're gonna get in where they fit in. Basically, that's what this kind of design is called. And some people like it. Sometimes I like it. It depends on the look that I'm going for. So I kind of like this because it's kind of like chunky in some areas, small in some areas. And you don't have to too much worry about the gaps, because once you top coat it and get it together, like, it's not really going to be so noticeable. And that's why I like to use a coordinating background. And with this process, well, with any type of full bling nail, or just when you're doing crystal work in general, I advise you to have various sizes, just period. And I recommend getting a size 5, 7, 9, 12, 16, 20 in popular colors, clear, AB, things like that. And then if you can get those same sizes in other colors, I would definitely do it. It's hard in some colors, but that's going to ensure that you can get very good detailed crystal designs in general. So with this type of design, I'm just fitting the crystals wherever I can. I wish I had some smaller ones. I don't know if I had any 5s. I just had 5s in like the regular rose gold. So I'm just putting them where I can get them. And look how perfectly this one's going to fit. Boom. Right there. Just slapped a little 5. Oh, I was so happy with myself. So you can see how blingy that nail is. I just love crystal work, you guys. And so you can see how just kind of haphazard the crystals are there. It kind of makes it kind of look like what they call a junk nail, kind of fun and chunky and gaudy. And I like that. Another way I do it, just if you guys haven't watched the video, is kind of lining the stones vertically down the nail, then filling in to the left of it vertically to the right. It's more symmetrical and more even looking than this is. That's another method to do it. And like I said, it depends on what the client wants or how I'm feeling on how I do a look like that. But when I'm mixing crystals like this, I usually like to do it, kind of chunky and mixed up, and size 12s and 16s thrown in there if possible. So after I get these stones where I need them, and you can kind of see me moving around, and I'm not perfect with it. Sometimes it's like a puzzle to try and solve, and it's a Tetris situation, but you kind of, over time, I can kind of eyeball it and say, oh, that's a gap for a size 7 right there. Oh, that gap, that's a size 5 gap. I can go ahead and stick a size 12 in this big space and fill it up a little more. So you kind of can eyeball it over time. And, I had to show you guys how blingy it is again. And so, again, that's silk and rose gold crystals. So I'm just showing you guys the inspiration pic that we were using, and it's Nails by Nanette, I believe. Yeah, Nails by Nanette. And that's where the picture came from. And I'm using the lacked gel matte top coat for this set. So I'm going ahead and I'm top coating the nails that I'm going to do the 3D work on. I had started applying the 3D and I was like, oh snap, how am I gonna get it matte? Because I'm not about to paint around these flowers with a matte top coat. So I had to take my little petal off, and then I went ahead and okay, I'm gonna have to apply the matte top coat first. So make sure you guys kind of think out your design, kind of which order you need to do stuff in, because I was busy talking and recording, so I didn't really think about it too much. So I went ahead and applied the matte top coat, and I'm just gonna work over the matte top coat with the flower, the 3D work. So I do want to talk about this for a second. I am using the dipping powder, like I mentioned, from Kiara Sky. And dipping powder is polymer. It is. It's polymer, and it's generally more finely milled, so it doesn't look, just for simplistic terms, like it doesn't look pixelated when you're doing the actual dipping method or the pour method, whatever you want to call it. If you have bigger particles, you're going to be able to see it. So it's going to look like sand when you actually do the dipping. So when they mill it more finely, the particles are tinier, so it looks like a more cohesive look. It looks like a polished nail instead of like a powdered red, you know, mess on top of the nail. So I say that to say dipping powder is acrylic powder. So use it how you feel. It may act a little differently, but I would definitely, if you're going to use it for for the full nail, I would apply a clear base coat, do the color, do whatever you're going to do, and always cap it so you can make sure you have your strength. But that's with regular colored acrylic too. That's how I operate. Anyways, back to this. So I have to say with 3D, for me, I use pictures. That's the best way for me to tell you. You can see I like to flip my client's hand over as I've shown and as I was talking through. I like to flip their hand over depending on the angle. So if you find that it's kind of awkward to get like to the if you're right-handed and you're trying to get a petal like way to the left side, you know, of their finger, it's kind of hard to reach over. So if you flip their hand over and have their, you know, hands facing the ceiling, it's kind of easier to do, you know, work around the cuticle or work something that's over on the left side that you can't reach too well, especially when you need it to be, you know, when you're doing little detailed stuff like this. So it's hard for me to describe how I do 3D. The best thing I can say is get a picture and practice. Make sure you practice your beads and how, you know, wet they are and everything like that. Just practice, practice, practice. And that's my best tip to you, and flipping your hand the other way like this as I'm showing. And that kind of helps, you know, you see how this angle is kind of awkward if I had her hand flipped the other way. So you can kind of go toy back and forth with those angles, and that'll probably help you. So besides that, get some pictures out, get some paper out, and practice. So after that, it's done. There's nothing to seal. Acrylic is going to adhere to gel nicely. They have the same like chemical makeup gel and acrylic. They're oligomers, polymers, monomers. So it works fine. Long story short, you can buff it. If it was a super slick surface, a matte top coat's not real slick. It has more like of a rough suede feel. So I didn't feel any need to kind of seal around the flower or top coat it at all. And so now I am taking gel bottle inks, rubber top coat, because it's not a hard gel, but it's a harder gel than a regular top coat, if that makes sense. So I'm taking the magenta brush from Wildflowers Nails, and you can see I'm going around the crystals carefully. And these are the ones that are going to be matte. So I applied it in between the crystals of my full bling nail. And now I'm taking the brush and I'm applying around the crystals that I have the matte nails. So you can see now I'm applying the matte top coat. So I applied the rubber top coat around the crystals, cured it. I flash cured it, and I have my little flashlight from Opry. Flash cured it. Then I went ahead and cured it for the full 30 seconds. And then after I applied the rubber top coat around the crystals, you can see I'm taking the matte top coat and I'm carefully applying that to the entirety of the nail. And I'm going to take my magenta brush again. I cleaned it off. And then you see me carefully going around the crystals. And the key to this is to make sure you have your matte top coat everywhere it needs to be, because if you miss a spot, you're going to see it. And if you try to fill in like a little spot you miss with matte top coat, you're going to tell. You're going to tell. So make sure when you're applying matte top coat, you get it right the first time. That's it. Just get it right the first time. So that's it. I cured it for the recommended time, which is 90 seconds in an LED for lac. It's kind of a little lengthy, but it's all right. And so I'm cleansing it, and you can see it's nice and matte. Make sure you get between the crystals. If you polish between there with the matte top coat with your cleansing alcohol. And this is the final result, you guys. And P.S. my client did want me to tell you guys that her henna is trash. So don't look at it. The girl messed her up. So I had to stick that in there. Anyways, you guys, I really want to thank you for watching. And I stuck in a few different processes in this video. I hope you guys learned something. We'll practice some techniques I showed you, or maybe, it'll kind of, show you different ways things can be done or another process. So if I helped you or showed you something different, just, give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and do that. Subscribe. You should, you want to. And I'll definitely have more videos. The intent is to always have more videos. So I do what I can when I can. And I really want to thank you guys for your support. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye.